Hello and welcome back to the Crimeshield Podcast, where we talk about security and safety each and every day. And we are here at Mercure Hotel, Wojo, shared office space where you live and you work. It's an amazing space, so come check it out. Their link is down below. You can check them out and come share the space with them. Today we are going to focus on a topic that not many people really like to talk about. Tumekuwa na watu wa mandudhi, tunaitanga dudhi gang. We talk about them all the time, but saa zingine we don't really know what goes on behind. There is Ndudhi gang and there are people who are professional riders. So the difference tutaiona. And we have two amazing ladies who will come and help us dissect this topic. They'll introduce themselves in a bit. Karibuni sana. We'll start with you.
Asante.
Yeah.
Pauline Watiri. On all socials, Watiri Mashare, Watiri M.
Karibu sana.
Yes. Habari zenu, my name is Murungi and I'm happy to be here.
Asante, karibu. Hii ndio Crimeshield Podcast. Sisi watu tunakaa tu hapa, tunaongea mambo ya security, and in everything what tunafanya, security is key. We've looked at many people who probably love to, ride a bike or own one or use it as a day-to-day means of transport. So we've never really, talked about the safety and security about that revolves around the motorbikes. A lot of accidents we've witnessed, Could I call it negligence by people or just not being aware? So probably in your opinion, Pauline, I'll start with you. Tuongee tu about riding, your experience as a person, before tuanze kuguzia hizi vitu zingine. How was riding? How did you discover riding and what is it for you? Kwa nini riding?
We don't discover riding. It just bam. It goes by the moment.
Ni kama Bluetooth, The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Yes, it's ready to pair. I think the moment you just decide I want to be on the road, and when you're seated in traffic and then you imagine someone passing by, you're like, I want to be that person. Wow. Then you start figuring out like, what time did they arrive at the office? What time did they get home? But the moment it starts raining, you're like, I'm comfortable in this space, in this car. So at that particular moment, it triggers your thoughts. It goes back and you start thinking, okay, how much is that thing? What are they wearing? Why are they wearing this thing on their head? How do they communicate and all that? So you start thinking in all areas, why do I want to get into it? So you have to factor out, trigger it out, think, is it me? Can I be that?
Okay.
Then you go down and narrate where are the other female riders? And there is my baby girl. And then in the span of time, you're like, I'm out in the showrooms. Yeah. I think I like this one. You start with color. As women, we follow color first.
Rangi kwanza.
We first go with color, then we go to the specs or the other way around. Then finally you're there. And then riding is in you. The moment you get on that bike, it's you won. Like the way when the priest joins a man and a woman, I am joined automatically. The moment I just touch my key, I touch my helmet, and we are one and bonded. So that's how you don't discover, you get into it.
You gradually. Get into it. When you correct up. So you don't discover
you don't discover riding, no.
It's like a Bluetooth.
Like a Bluetooth.
In a
it's
search.
The device.
Ready to pair.
Ready to pair.
How about you, Frida?
Mimi kwetu, my mom is a bike lover. So mi niligrow nikijua stories za kuride bike. So when I got out into the real world, actually my shock was people get shocked when women ride. Yes, I grew up knowing women ride. So as she said, lazima ujue biker ni mtu free spirited. Yani ni mtu mwenye ni ako unconventional. Mtu mwenye anajaribu kubreak the norms za kwamba as a human being you fit into this box. So biker ni mtu mwenye kwanza ni mtu free spirited in this, na mtu roho safi sana. So unakaga hivi unashindwa, okay, what else can we do? What else can I do as a person? So unasikiaga tu hiyo mvuto
sasa.
Hiyo mvuto unasikia manze nataka So umekaa hivi ukiona mtu amepita na bike. Alafu bikers unaweza kuata uko kwa meeting as in a very serious high profile meeting. You're talking a lot of English there. Yeah. Unasikia tu pipe.
Unataka kutoka kwa meeting.
Unasikia utanigio side you're like that is how you get into biking. You don't chance upon it. It starts from you, how you're built, how you think. Bikers, as I've said, are free-spirited and unconventional. Then it gets into you wanting to have the machine. You're attuned to listening to motorbikes. You are pulled towards the biking community. Then you get your machine and you're bonded from the word go.
Mimi my story yangu utashangaa sana. I have a brother of mine called Brian Murila. I saw him get on a bike and was like, hata mimi natamani. You know, hivyo tu. Yes. So najua hiyo story na you don't discover, you just find yourself pairing yourself with the two wheels.
Yes.
And for the longest time na tutatoka hapa hivi nitamtafuta twende tutafuta helmet. Is there a hierarchy of things that you require before you get to the bike? Mtu inafaa afanye nini kabla uingie kwa hiyo machine sasa?
Sasa wacha niko correct kidogo. Unaona everyone ukiushago ama ukiwa town unaitana nduthi unapanda. Si ndio? The moment we get into our bikes we get into a different type of feeling. Okay. And then ile siku naamua kupanda boda. My body refuses.
Inakataa. So uko na bike lakini huwezi panda nduthi.
My body refuses. Like lazima ushike umse, like you hold on the back, you're like it's very uncomfortable. So I think that already splits you and moves you to this other side.
Okay.
And then when you get this man called Murila, Jehovah. I have been on his bike and so you have to look at his skills. I think you need to ride with him from time to time. But if it's your first time getting on a bike with him, obviously you first admire the bike and okay, where is he going? How are the roads? But the moment you sit on that seat, now you become your pillion. Naona tukiwa kwa nduthi unaitwa tu passenger, mtu wa kawaida, but you get on this other side.
You're now a bike.
Pillion. Atumeka kwa pillion seat.
And then nimejua hiyo jina sahi.
You start wondering how am I supposed to sit on these big bikes? You try adjust the position, try sit and just go with the flow.
Wow.
So we are really looking for you on the road as our major pillion. You'll shift from her bike to my bike and the next bike.
So hakuna ati kama ati hierarchy ama checklist. Ati mimi nitafute hii kwanza ama hii.
Iko. Iko.
Tueleze.
Kitu ya kwanza, training. Lazima uende shule utrain. Okay? There are specific schools that will train you on how to ride. All right? That is got to be the first thing you have to do. You have to train. And I'm saying proper training. Tunaojua mtaani na kuja jueni best yangu ati kama tunaenda kiwanjani tuna ride for 2 minutes.
Squad. Utapa squad na bicycle alafu una graduate unaenda kwa
So no, tunajua watu wengi wanafanya hivyo, but we would really urge people to move away from that. We would urge people to go into proper training school. The people who are the instructors who are specifically trained to train us on 2 wheels.
Okay.
Now that would be first. Number 2, you have to get your protective wear, starting from your helmet to your gloves to your knee guards to the boots. All right?
Kabla hata ufikirie bike yenyewe.
Kabla hata hujafikiria bike yenyewe na hapo sasa the order in which you buy the things that's up to you. But the order into which you get into riding has to follow that. Lazima umeenda shule, lazima uwe na protective gear, lazima uwe na bike. Ideally unaweza buy hiyo bike uende ukatrain nayo so that mtu unatrainiwa na bike yako. Okay. Yeah, but we are not saying it is a must. Watu wengine pia usema it's good if you know how to cycle ile baiskeli ndio uingie into riding. It makes you a better rider. But pia it doesn't mean that if you don't know how to cycle you can't do riding.
Utabalance aje aki Frida?
Huna balance tu.
Mimi nakumbuka nikiride bike in the village, Kakamega. So my dad bought me my first bike. It was a chopper. Unajua chopper zile zinakuwa
bike or bicycle?
Bicycle.
Thank you.
Asante sana. Bicycle. And I remember it was so hard for me to ride it. Unajua iko ni kama tu pikipiki, but sasa una cycle. So I had to go and hop into a Black Mamba. So I had a very good friend of mine mwenye alikuwa na ride to our home and back. So hapo ndo nilijifunzia. Nakumbuka that's why even I got into contact sport at some point, because nilitackle mti direct. Ilibidi tu because unaangalia unatafuta brakes. Umebalance, realize kumbe siko. Unaninginia. Tackle. I found myself in rugby, and right now sasa Brian ameni challenge sasa paka niruke sasa hapa. So you know, it's important at least you're balancing from the bicycle. Now getting into the bike is very critical.
It's very critical, and I think that's where now the issue of skill comes in. Those are the very basic skills that you have to have. You have to do your balance, right? But we also must be very cognizant of the fact that it is not difficult. Skill, skill can be gained and can be taught.
Exactly.
All right? We are not born bikers. We are taught to be bikers, and good ones at that. Yeah.
And Pauline, nimesikia Frida akimention mambo ya safety gear. Each safety gear has its own meaning. Lakini huku hivi nje Ndudhi gang naonanga ni kashol tu ameweka hapo hivyo bila glasses, bila helmet na kwa barabara. What would you say is your take on tuanzie helmet? Helmet inasaidia mtu na nini?
It's my head. Everything is right there. So I need to protect my head, cover my head. I know it goes to the extent of having a neck guard.
Okay.
But that varies on one person to the next. But that is very paramount. When you're starting to buy your gears, I think the helmet should come in as the first and most important thing when you're getting your gears. So that should be it.
So helmet inakuanga designed for many shapes of heads. Mi najua niko na kichwa kubwa. Tapata size yangu. Ama paka uende kwa fundi. Unajua wafundi tena wanaweza kufanyia mambo yako.
Not ideally, but when you get to the market, it is advanced, and we have different type of hairs. She has braids, I have locks. There's someone else who wants to put their wigs in there. So you put something that will fit and will be snuggling. So not something so tight that you can't breathe, and not something so loose that has to come off. So when you come to the helmet itself, it has different shapes. So it has to cut on the wind, so it's a bit slanted at the front. It has the visor that moves on, and then on the other side, it's all rounded. So when you turn the helmet inwards, there's always a layer of foam on the inside and some bit of material. That also is self-absorbent.
Foam sasa ni ile sponge kama ya kiti.
So I'm trying to translate it in easier way. So ni kama kisponge kiko hapo ndani, alafu kuna like a layer of clothing. That layer of clothing, you'll find that ukiingia hapo ndani uta sweat, my friend. You will sweat.
Acclimatize kwanza ndio.
So hawaeki just like silk or something. So it has to be something that is aligned to it. So once it gets there, you fit it in. There's always a lock at the bottom. So you secure your head. Right? And those who go to the extent of securing the neck, they have the neck guard that fits perfectly on the neck. So nikifit helmet yangu, you'll find that for others have this it moves the entire the visor moves the entire of it, and those that are closed. So
modular.
Modular. Thank you. So you'll find some are for off-road, some are just for kawaida. So ukipata msiwandu this tuitanga bakuli. Akona bakuli anavaa. Yeah, you know. So when you look at that and this, you'll find they're of different measures. So different security measures put in place that have been certified differently. So
kuna certification ya helmet.
Kuna certification ya helmet, yes, at the back. So hata ukiwa kwa Nduthi, utaona tu like there's a tag on the back of it, and some of obviously the labeling. So ukisoma hiyo label, like you read a Toyota passing by, obviously like I know a Toyota, it rings a bell. But when it comes to helmet, you have to move closer to it and see the certification. So all these things come into place when you're looking at that specific helmet. But most importantly, let it be snuggling, not too tight, not too loose.
Ikuwe too fitting.
Perfect fitting. So hata ukiona kichwa kubwa aje, you'll find your helmet.
Frida, niko na best yangu mwingine. Kuna best yangu mwingine anaitwa Bazu. Maswara kila siku tu, yani maswara kila saa. Sasa Bazu aliamua buy Nduthi. Lakini visor yake haikuwa na akona helmet, yes. but sasa haina hii, wacha niite windscreen kwa watu waelewi, that visor yenye kwa hapo mbele. Na jamaa hata yani kwa ndudhi yake ni msetu, yani ana speed nini, but anasema niko young but we don't need this, niko na helmet. What is the importance of protecting your eyes na hiyo visor and just checking on the quality of you know the helmet?
Okay, tulikuwa hata tunaongea kabla tuja come onto the podcast na Paulina hapa. Hii helmet vile unaiona hivi. Najua tukiongea na wasee mtaani because we are one big community, unakuta as much as sisi ni private bikers pia huwa tunaongea na wasee wa boda, jua wao uokolea, wao uokolea sana.
Wanajua ground.
Wanajua ground, unajua. So wao uokolea. So hii tu kubonga na wao, unakuta mtu anakuambia yeye anavaanga helmet season ya baridi ndio protect. Ndio protect yo asikie baridi kama boshori. But it's good we explain the way Paulina has explained is that helmet imetengenezwa na vitu mob ndani. There is a reason why. Kama sasa hiyo visor bazoo mwenye best yako
Maswara.
Mwambie hiyo visor inamsaidia hayo macho. Unaona? Macho hiyo macho inapigwa na upepo, vumbi, wadudu, mvua, as in all yes, everything that is
there. Attitude you are strong.
Yeah, you are strong. Acha vile anasema ako strong. Kwanza bazoo ukimwona usiku, most likely ana ride.
But niliona juzi alinunua aliamua atoe kwa hiyo helmet, aliamua buy glasses tu zinakwanga tu kwa soko. Does it help? Ama ndio inawake?
What we'll say is it is a measure in as far as it is.
Okay.
Let us keep it to that. But pia it is not. Hiyo ushaona una ride na ile kitu kingine ufanyanga watu wakwe complacent, unakuta msee kama huyo labda anaendesha tu nduthi, si wanakuanga na ile shimo yao hapo hivyo stage. So chances are anangoja matatu ni hapo tu ana shuffle kati ya hiyo stage na S2.
Okay.
Now imagine umeingia huku hivi, unakuja na huku hivi labda unakuingia CBD. Kuna kulinyesha na kumeacha kunyesha, kuna kama tope. Gari ziko mbele, tairi inafanya hivi. Hiyo matope kama uko nyuma ina so hiyo the glasses ikigongwa tu na kitu
kwisha.
So no.
So bazoo sikia huko hivyo nje, and all my rider friends, msinvest sana kwa bluetooth speaker.
Yes.
Cause at the end of the day uko na bluetooth speaker na hauna helmet kwa hatarini. There's one thing that is very critical. Na umeona mabikes zetu, you know, many families they use you know, motorbikes as their means of transport.
Yes.
Watoto wanapelekwa shule na bikes. Sisi unajua unataka kufika mahali haraka, ndudhi unaenda. What are the things that family people could you know, apply for the safety of their kids, even their own safety when their kids are using? Wamefunga saa hizi shule, lakini it's important that they know. What are the things that they need to look at before their son or their daughter boards into a boda to go to school? In your opinion? Because wanatumia.
Disclaimer, in my opinion.
Yes.
Obviously, huwezi enda tu kwa msewa stage umwambie nipelekee mtoto. As a mother or as a guardian, as a parent, obviously umeangalia huu mtu anduthi, umemmake. Si kila siku that utaamini mtu na mtoto wako.
Okay.
Ndio? So pale kwa mtaani unaangalia huyu nimemzoea, huyu namjua, namba yake niko nayo. Maybe your sisters or your other the family, the relatives that you have already have their contact. So unajua I am trusting this person with my child. Akienda naye mtoto lazima akae na specific way. Kuna wale watoto wadogo kabisa wanaikwa juu ya tank. Very wrong. You know, very wrong. But unaangalia mtoto ni mdogo, ukienda tu vibaya ameenda chini. When for these other big adults or other big kids ongoing, akona bag ya shule. So akikaa pale nyuma, they move closer to this person ndo amshikilia. So that grip is very important.
So mtoto paka ashike.
Na imagine siye peke yake, akona mandugu zake wengine, bando lapo. So muna squeeziwa hapo nyote. So kila mtu unamwona tu like, you know, mtu ameshika kwanza, wa pili na watatu. The last one, amejaribu kushika ile reflector umse wa nduthi. So I know it's very very unsafe fast.
Yeah.
But for me, when maybe you're picking Siwanduthi, you'll be like, I need to know this person. Vile anasonga, I need to trust him. So that building a bond pole pole, anaweza muaminia na mtoto wangu.
Okay.
I'm assuming I'm running late, I'll be like, okay, nichukule mtoi shule, mpeleke home. Ukifika pale, kunali they even go to the extent and mpeleke kwa mtu fulani umwache hapo nitakutumia pesa baadaye, you know. But right now we have technology.
Yeah.
We have modern riding apps,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So you can just decide to maybe book a ride for them, take them home. But still, for the modern, for the apps that are there,
Yeah.
they also factor in safety.
Okay.
Ukiangalia this person who is onboarded on this app and the person you ride kwa mtaani, it's the same person. Tofauti ni nini? Mentality yake.
Yeah.
Vile atakavyoendesha hiyo bike yake from one stage to the next, then that is what like determines, it draws the line.
Okay.
So those are the things that you look at. Hata kama nitaitishanisha app, but ni ule msi. Hana gears, hana reflector, hana nini. Ile siku ataanguka, sintachukia se wote
na
wanduthi.
amebeba watoto wanne.
That's my generation going down the drain.
Hatari.
You know, sana. But sasa mimi kama mtu mkubwa. Oya, kuja.
Umeshaelewa hiyo vitu.
So you're also terrified. You imagine how it's a kid going and the vlog run. Yosema hapana. So there's so many things. So maybe from a different perspective.
Fidel nipigia. Hebu ile story ulikuwa unaniambia by the way.
We want to be clear.
Yes.
That we
disclaimer.
Yes, disclaimer. We want to be very clear that we are not negating the efforts of the parents and also we are not downplaying that they are working within the means that they have.
Yes,
we want to be clear.
Kila mtu ako na uwezo wake.
Yeah, kila mtu ako na uwezo wake na kila mtu, there is no parent who wakes up and sets out to put their children in danger.
Yes.
So we must be very clear that we are not downplaying that parents are making do with what is at their disposal. So that must be clear. However, also we will not have done our duty if we don't say what we need to say, right? So number one is what she said, rider safety. You've done your due diligence on who you're exposing your kids to. That's number one. Number two, kuna ile story yenye nilikuwa nakupigia, I had the opportunity ya kuride kwenda Ngong Hills na group uko mtaani kuna group yenye tuko mix, tuko private bikers, wase wa boda nini Nduthi gang. Tumeenda huko hivyo ndio tupige story huko Ngong, watupatie watupatie skills, tuongee na wao. As in we're a very big community and we really love each other wherever I come from. So sasa there's an amazing biker mom mwenye akona msichana. Tumeenda na yeye amempillion. Tumeenda tumecheza, tumekula, tumefanya nini na mtoto ako kitted, kofiti. So sasa sisi at the back of our minds, especially mimi, even the other people, tulikuwa tuja appreciate kwamba mtoto akicheza, akishiba, amechoka na amevaa kagia joto. Alafu na ile kusuoyo ya bike, sijui kama mnajua kusuoyo hivi, anasikia fiti. Sisi tumetoka Ngong, tumekuja poa, tunako kwa group ride, tuko na formation. Okay? So mimi niko pale vile mbele, kuna kuanga na mtu wa side, kuna mtu wa nyuma, tunakuja fiti, speed nyingine poa sana. So tumefika ile junction ya Gitaru. Nikiangalia side mirror naona sioni wale wengine. Kawaida lazima kwa side mirror lazima uone tire wale watu wengine. That's why unaonaga tukiride tire iko on, it's for visibility. So kugeuka unajua ile Gitaru iko junction hivi. Kuna sioni wale wengine kurudi kumbe yule biker mom vile amebeba mtoto, ule mtoto alianza kusinzia.
Can you imagine?
So rider mwenye ako nyuma akaona mtoto anaenda vipi? So quickly akaenda caught. So by the time mimi narudi napata wamesimama. So wando walikuwa wamebaki nyuma wamesimama. Wamemshukisha, kuna chupa ya maji, wanamuosha uso ndio afanye nini? Amke. This is when it became clear to me the importance of having a safety harness when it comes to children. Harness is, you have a child, you've pillion, na mtoto mwenye unambeba, make sure miguu yake inakanyaga foot peg. That is how we rate mtoto mwenye anaweza bebwa na bike. Ikiwa kama ile foot peg haezi kanyaga ya miguu inaning'inia, ni mdogo. Pandishe gari. ile harness unamfunga yule mtoto na unajifunga wewe kama rider. Ndio ule that child is fastened on to you.
Okay.
That is the day I came face to face with how important a harness is. It is extremely important. That is number one. Number two, hiyo boda naweza I want to speak. Hiyo boda inabeba watu wangapi kwa siku? Watu wengi mpaka mizigo sokoni.
Yeah.
Okay? Wale wasichana wetu mnawapandisha hizo boda. Okay? The likelihood ya huyo mtoto kupick up infection hapo is very high.
Very high.
Yes. That is another thing that is very important for us to highlight.
Hata zile cleaning. Umeona vile wana cleaning bike,
yes.
Stagnant water na nini?
Yes. Exactly. So those are some of the kuna yale mambo madogo huwa tu it will not occur but until it happens. So ni vitu venye tunaona kila siku. Yule boda mwenye anabeba mtoto unakuta yeye ako na helmet lakini mtoto hana. Na ni asubuhi saa 1, klasi inaanza saa 2. Huyo mtoto aliamka saa 12 labda hata kulala fit. Huyo mtoto kusinzia kwa hiyo bike, how easy is it? Ama saa zile anachukuliwa jioni after ashachoka.
Amechoka.
Yeah. So some of these small things, hizi vitu ndogo, they are the ones that in safety, I don't know how in security you put it. In safety, we usually say by the time an incident takes place, it means all the layers of protection have aligned and have gone miss.
Yes.
All right? Then an incident happens.
Yeah.
So we would really like, with Pauline here, to come out very strongly to say that is something we really need to relook at. How and we are carrying our children on the motorbike, whether it's border, whether it's private bikers, let us allow our children the opportunity to live their life. Sisi kama unataka kama maisha yako ushaishi kaende, but let us give our children the opportunity to see a tomorrow.
Maybe just to add on what she said, ukibeba mtoto umweki mbele ama juu ya tank, si ndio? I think the same concept should be applied when you're also having kids in the cars. Most of the scenarios when you pass by, mtoto ako hapo mbele ya dash. The scenario that this bike goes, hakuna ile like a holding fort or something, inaweza mzuia. Same case, peleka mtoto uko nyuma, even unakaa usimweke hapo mbele. Peleka nyuma, fasten them and move. So that's what the harness does for us. Sisi watu wa bikes hatuna safety belt. Mimi nikianguka hivi mtoto atarushwa this other side. There is no direction we say when an impact happens that tutarushwa one side. Utapata hata when an accident happens even in the middle of the road, mtu amerushwa huko, helmet iko huko, sijui mguu iko wapi. So you start asking yourself, this impact, the reaction was everyone goes in every direction. So that harness helps. Also maybe you can just extend it to the cars. Ikeni watoto nyuma. Na wafunge seat belt. Ukieka hapo mbele, even me when I'm hit by, maybe I'm having a head-on collision, nitarushwa wa kwanza, I'll come to the dash. Huyo mtoto wako hapo nyuma sijui ataenda wapi. You know, even my first reaction will be, wacha bike iende, mimi nitashuka. So there's a way, when an accident happens, we're always told, hold yourself in this position as you fall.
Brace.
That's a crash. I think umeona races mingi. Mimi si mtu as in unaona hizo. So even sometime unafaa uambie mtu, please go watch on YouTube. YouTube is free. Angalieni how those impacts that happen. Look at how accidents happen when you have toddlers on that bike. Wacha hiyo baridi ingia the first time. But the next time it happens, you're like, no, my kid cannot go there. You'll start thinking of other ways of making them reach from point A to point B and back. So.
We've talked about helmets, tumeongelea juu ya harness. Naona mmevaa hapa mnakaa kama magwanda. Terminator 5. What is the importance of having knee guards?
I'll move it to the same way. Kama sina macho sitasonga. Sindio? Kama sina limbs, then there's nothing I can do. If I don't have this, then my knees are gone. It doesn't just protect your knees. It goes all the way up. So utapata hii nimevaa, ninakaa nusu. Ukiangalia from that aspect, it just looks half. whatever design she has is also different. So when I'm also going into the market, I have to take in consideration for so many factors. It's bending here. Why? It's not straight. So hata nikipanda bike, si ati naenda kukaa nieke mguu hivyo. I have to like fold it. So I make sure this, whatever my knee guards are in good condition and also foldable, and it takes action all the way down. So nikivaa boots, kuna wale wanavaa fupi. Nikivaa knee guards, kuna wale wanavaa tu ya hapa tu. Mtu anaangalia importance ya magoti. So hii magoti ikienda, sina mguu ya kuenda nayo, si ndio?
Bazo alienda toy market akanunua shin guards.
Akanunua shin guards.
Akasonga.
Zilizocheza futa.
Kaende. So, kuna difference. Wanunue knee guards. Zenye zinaenda all the way. Pia ziko na standard kama helmet.
Ziko nayo. Yes.
Apart from just the safety of your legs, what else can knee guards help?
Zina protect magoti, zina protect shin, as she has said. We usually say dress for the fall, not the ride. We are dressing for the fall. So hiyo kukiti hivyo, mtu anaweza kuona overdo, but you're dressing for the fall. But pia hii ili goti na hii shin, ile upepo inashinda ikikupiga, it protects that. So as you grow older, na wanaambia, when we are younger we can get away with quite a bit. Hiyo una imagine hilo goti
bazu na machine gun
na bazu na machine gun yake hiyo goti, na tuna ride tukiwa hivi, si ndio? Inapigwa na upepo, hizo mavitu madaktari watatuambia zinaitwa rheumatoid arthritis, hizo madawa hizo ugonjwa za baridi hizo. You will not get away with it. So hii ikiwa hapa inani protect goti in case of impact, na pia inanizuia hiyo baridi, so that I have my limbs for longer without disease. I might not suffer impact as in terms of a crash, but I may suffer impact in terms of disease. Our limbs were never made to take that much cold or weather. Can you imagine? Can you imagine where unashika hapa hivi uende Kimende, tuseme tunafululiza tukienda Uganda.
Uko unajua inakuanga winter throughout.
Basi inakuwa winter throughout. Hiyo goti it takes that impact. So knee guards are my encouragement and our encouragement with Pauline is, and the entire R squad is, let's look at gear 360. All right? Kwa sababu kila gear has more than one purpose of why you're wearing it. Yes.
That's great. So I think it's the same case na hata gloves.
Kabisa.
Bazo awache gym gloves, tafute glove.
Gym glove. Ukiona gym glove kwa lami inararuliwa inakaa kama karatasi, inaishaga yote. Haiwezi kukufanya anything hiyo gym glove.
Haisaidii kitu.
Haikusaidia hata kama unapasua kuni.
Bazuba. Na tukiongelelea sasa culture, bring up something that the reason why you're here and as R squad. That means kuna watu ambao wako kama group wenye wanafanya mambo yao ya riding. Taka Pauline tueleze, how did R squad happen and the riding culture in Kenya in general?
Those are like three things in one.
Tutaongea ni story.
If I speak about R squad, it will be a whole conversation. And then about the groups, obviously every group is independent.
So ziko
groups ni mingi. So you're not discouraged to join. You are actually encouraged to join. So let me speak about that first, then I come to R squad.
Okay.
Now, ukikuja kwa watu wa nduthi, as we call them, and also private bikers, utapata, we have small groups and we have unions. I'll call them unions for now. But sisi tunaitanga nyumba 10.
Nyumba 10.
Ukikuja kwa matatu kuna sako. Ukikuja kwa leso wa boda mtaani, wako na ka group kao. I don't know how to call it.
Wako na watu chama zao.
So kuna wale, like mtaani kwetu, they meet every Tuesday. I know. Wana contribute, they do amazing things. I think even on socials, you see some of them even building stuff. So before that grouping per se, they look at the area you come from. They look at your bike. Do you have insurance? Do you have personal cover? Do you have medical? Some of them look at all these outliers, right? But when it comes to now the private bikers, we go above and beyond. Kuna wale wanajigroup with the type of bike I have. Kuna wale go with the location that I live. And there are those who are just like us. We are R squad, you know.
Ni R squad.
Yes, so our cloth is cut a bit differently.
Yeah.
So for R squad, we started out as newbies. We were all new, different lines. When you get that bike of yours, you look like a lost child, you know. Haujui uamke wapi, uanguke wapi. Yes, uko na bike, wase wa mtaani wanaona, hiyo ni mpya. Hiyo machine umeiona? Tena ni madam. You know, you're like, hiyo ni mpya. But you like, okay, so my purpose is just to go to work. I beat traffic. Nifike tu kwa ofisi niseme, thank God I've arrived. Then unapiga 8 hours, you're like, how do I go home now? You know, that hustle and bustle. So that is one of the main reasons. You go to the second one, you're like, nafanya nini weekend? Frida uko? Let me come to you. Sijui nani uko wapi? Let me come to you. So out of that, someone created a group for the newbies.
Okay.
So in this group, we were quite a number, hamjuani. So umeka kwa hizo nyumba 10 stari usha join because I live along this road. Let me join this nyumba 10. I'll find someone who goes the same road. Tufuatanishe na even though I'll take 1 hour. Bora nifike na ako hapo. So I'll have the security like, kiangalia kwa mirrors, huyu mtu ako hapo. That's my confidence. Pole pole, this person brought us together. We were in that group. Sasa unajua sote ni newbies. Kila mtu anapiga motion na ile anajua na hujui kile unaongelea. You know, years of researching. I know attire needs to be like this. So I bring my knowledge, someone corrects me.
Okay.
I bring my other knowledge, someone corrects me. So out of the blues, you're like, tumekuwa tukiride ofisi, nyumbani, ofisi. Or I pack my bike, natoka tu nao sato. 4 hours kwa mtaani, napiga round na rodi. So this trip happened, Namanga. 9th, 10th of October.
Kwa bike?
Yeah, it just happened. Watu wakaanza kusema, kwa nini tunaenda tu job?
Paka da bank?
Yeah, so it just like, let's pick a location that doesn't have traffic.
Okay.
Let's go for a groupies ride, a newbies ride. We're like, fine. So mimi sijai kuona, na wewe sijai kuona. Na sijui bike yako, I don't know your skills. So let's do this. So one Saturday morning, nini. It was quite a number of newbies. Not everyone will come up because of the fear.
Yeah.
Unaangalia tu Google Maps nasema, Namanga.
Umeona vile nimeshtuka hapa? I wonder.
Unasema, guy, Namanga nitafika. Na mimi unaangalia, my bike is just 150. You know, you pick the smallest, ukimaliza na shule unaambiwa usichukue 600cc and above. You're a newbie.
Hatari.
Mtu ashaangalia the possibilities of you crashing nini, like sawa. 150cc, it is. Sijui what cc it is, sawa. Namanga Google Maps is far. Unaangalia inasema 1 hour, 2 hours to arrive. But me being a newbie, 8 hours. Wacha nichukue 8 hours, bora nifike. So we set out. Obviously, as bikers, we pick a central location so that everyone rides from wherever they're coming from and meet here. We met at, I think, Junction. Early morning, tukasema, watu watafika. You know, wale ambao watafika ndo tutaenda. So kuna wale wapanganga, you know, those people who like speak a lot in the group. I want to see this girl. I'm only coming. Nimekuza tu kumwona mse. I've only come to see the face of this person and what they ride and just relate on their conversations they have in the chat. And one-on-one. Intelligence yake na vile anakaa, you're like, wacha nikamsikize, maybe in person I'll get to learn. So someone comes with the mindset, I want to reach this Namanga they're saying. Namanga, I have never been to Namanga. I want to interact and share knowledge. I want to see the bike that they have. Maybe in the future I can move to that specific bike. So you come with very many agendas. Alafu na imagine, ni asubuhi. Niamke kwangu asubuhi ati naenda tu kuendesha nduthi paka wapi?
Mateso.
Some cancelled on the very day. We set out. I don't know how many we were, but the number that went, out of that, our school was born. 10th of October, 2021.
Amazing.
During that time. So we set out, went to Kaka. Unajua tujuani? So you were like, wewe, nimekuona. Kumbe you are Murungi. So ukifika pale mnaanza conversation kidogo tu, as in we just gelled. Not with everyone, but with a few. Getting there, the hustle and bustle, the road, you apply the skills. Unajua tulikuwa tushaambiwa ukienda group ride. There are some signs you learn on the road. So when you do this, you do what, do what. This is a specific. So, mimi nimeenda kusoma what she always says. Kufika Namanga, the conversations happened. Sijui, I think tulikuwa tunafika, tulitoka 7. Tulikuwa tunafika almost midday. Kwa sababu ya tunasimama huyu amechoka. Tunasimama.
Unachoka na ni engine na upedal.
No, it's your first time. It's a new road and then unaangalia hapa mwenzako yule. You're like I'm giving up. So you go pole pole, you have to wait for the rest. So the many stops that we took, tulikuwa tunafika saa 6. We are wondering, this is a new country, unajua uko kwa border. So the photos along the way, it's a lot. Yani paka unafahamu unasema guy. Na sasa ni mmoja nime overdress. Jua ndio hii, sijui guy. By the time tunafika huko, you're like, let's just have lunch, sit down, have a conversation. So in my head, naangalia umse amegia up vizuri, like okay, nini umevaa, like you start having those conversations. So for every stop that you have, you mingle with someone. I know there are those who are shy, like me. So ukisimama you are like ukisimama you are like, oh hi, I am Watiri and you are all right, fine. Then you're like, sawa ukienda usiniache, please ride along with my speed. And then you know there are those good men out there, the men out there.
Okay.
They follow you through. They're like, okay, sawa weenda tuna speed yako nitakuwa nyuma.
Na speed ya 20. Inaweza kuachanisha.
They just have to. So with all these dynamics, so you'll find us as our squad, we have already bonded in that manner. So I know najua how she rides. I know how she behaves on the road. Najua mama akichoka, itabidi tu nimekaa nyuma. And then if I know like you've mentioned Brian, Murila, namwambia, Murila, guy, hapa nasikia kususu. You know? We set aside, I do my shenanigans and then we set on the road. Tunajua mtu fulani akifika hapa, that's it. When you come to these others, I know the nyumba kumis I've mentioned, we also have different riding skills. Unaona? So mi na join ile ambayo itakuwa convenient kwangu. So for me, I think our squad is already home and we have grown in leaps, in faith. Tumekosana, tumecheka, tumerudi, and here we are. That is our squad.
Amazing.
For the others, we're also bonding. Si ati tunaishi one flat. Ati Frida ako juu, mimi niko second, Murila ako ground, and the rest. No. Huyu anaishi kwa baridi. Huko Kimenda mnasema, uko! And then I live on this other side of town. Murila lives on the other one. If you look at AD, DM, and all the rest, kila mtu ako tofauti. So in all those places they are, we're also encouraging them. Join a nyumba kumi where you stay. Because the moment something happens, huyu ambako karibu ndo atakuokoa.
Fimbo ya mbali haiui nyoka.
Kiswahili. Hiyo ilikuwa hata ndio hivyo. So as in those are the dynamics of the group rides and now for our squad. And we always ride for our cause.
Amazing. Actually hapo ndo nilikuwa nakuja. Our squad riding for a cause. Nimeona helmet yenu iko na paka kastika hapo hivyo. Tell us more about our squad and what's behind it, apart from just riding, going to Namanga. What else do you do as our squad?
Our squad ni vitembezi. Watu kutembea sana. Hii sticker yenye unasema umeona inaitwa ICE, in case of emergency.
Okay.
So,
ICE in case of
emergency. So I think that comes very handy when it comes to safety and even security. Kwa hiyo ICE tumeka jina la mtu sasa kama kwa helmet yangu itakuwa imeandikwa jina langu, my blood group, alafu niko na 2 emergency contacts. Contact mmoja lazima awe wa squad na contact mwingine huwa ni mtu mwenye when they are told to rise to the occasion they can. Most likely atuekangi spouses na wazazi juu. Kipigiwa kiambiwa it has happened, ataanza kwanza na so our contacts ni people who can take an impact. Ukiambia manze kuko hivi na hivi, somebody who can swing to action. So these stickers, they are ICE. Utaona moja kwa helmet na nyingine iko kwenye bike. Okay? So that's number 1. Our squad, hiyo R moja ni riding. Sisi utembea. as you've heard, we are just 2 years into riding na tumetembea
niliona mlifika paka kuna mtu anaenda Dubai ama I had something like that.
Yes. Hiyo tulikwanza hii inchi tuanze tu Kenya. Kenya tumeenda over 20 counties kutembea na bado. Alafu tumeenda hiyo time ya Namanga tulisema Mount Kilimanjaro iko
tu hapo.
Ile pale. Tukaenda mpaka huko.
Okay.
Tumeenda mpaka Uganda, mpaka Entebbe ndani. Alafu wawili wetu Brian included wao walichukua wakazidisha wakaenda Rwanda, wakaingia Burundi, wakarudi na Tanzania.
So the East Africa.
So the East Africa.
Circuit yote.
So yes, squad tunapenda sana kutembea and out of that kuna mmoja wetu sasa kati ya hizi tu pilka zetu aliambiwa ni aje squad inaweza kutupatia msee mwenye anaweza enda kufanya hii ride na yeye sasa anapenda ku ride his good he's on his way to Dubai and we thank God for him kutoka Kenya.
Sasa kuna njia unajua ibia watu siri kuna njia ya kwenda paka Dubai
kunayo but yeye sasa
zimepanda
kunayo but sasa yeye alienda paka Mombasa alafu sasa akaenda Egypt nini if it's agreeable anaweza kuja amubonge hiyo story na yeye awaambie. But we thank God for him. He's doing great things and as a squad we are proud. All right, we are very proud.
Unajua hiyo ya best yako ni juu unaona saa hizi tickets zimeishaisha December. So hizo ma shortcuts za kufika Dubai kama tunaweza avoid
ukiwa na tuwila. Haya squad pia tukakaa pamoja tukasema we want to be something more.
Yeah.
And as our squad, out of that pioneer spirit, tulikuwa tunataka kuingia cross industry. Nilikuwa nimekuelezea. Tunataka kuingia cross industry because for the longest time bikers we only do for bikers. Na muda mrefu people have not been understanding us.
The biking culture.
Yes, the biking culture. And as a squad we said we want to open it up and let people in, and we also request people to let us into their industry. Like right now we are creating synergies with you from security. So that's a good thing because we want you to understand us and we want to understand you. So kwa hii pilka tuka join na Kakamega Forest Foundation.
Niliwaona kule.
Niliwaona Kakamega Forest Foundation. That is a whole other industry that are not bikers. Tukasema okay. Brian akatuambia angalieni, tunaweza chukua Kakamega as a region and we adopt it. Okay? Katika hii region kuna baadhi ya maneno yenye tunaweza kuwa involved in. We can be involved. So tukaingia tukaanza na pads and pants. Pads and pants ni tunapatia kwanza ilianza wasichana are leaving school. When it's that time of the month when they're having their periods, they have to stay home and not go to school. When you put those numbers cumulatively, you can imagine if you're menstruating monthly and every time you have to be at home, it adds up. Substantive amount of time being away from school. So we thought, mina Paulina hapa, tukaambia boys, you guys, ebu kaeni kando now.
The girls are taking over.
The girls are taking over. We are dealing with this. So katika hiyo pilka yenye Kakamega Forest Foundation were involved in, kumbe katika huku kupatia na hizi pads, the boys were like, look guys, we need underwear so that we are also able, I know allow me to say this, to a kawaida person, pants doesn't look like a very big deal. But huo mtoto hata kucheza hezi cheza kama amevaa ile kinyasa na underwear. You know, it comes down to that fingerprint level. So yes, Kakamega Forest Foundation was like, look, why not pads and pants? So us, we wanted to be identified with that. Tukaingia, tunachangisha pesa, we call on our friends. That was year 1. Year 2 was our most remarkable year, which is this year. What are the numbers? They always escape me. Over 1,000 girls in over 10 schools.
Wow.
We put them in school for a year. And over 800 underwear for the boys.
Wow.
the same me under Kakamega Forest Foundation were like, look, girls pia mwasot sana, tuanze kufanya nini?
Boy child.
Macho program ikakuja. Wakatuambia, kuna macho program. Tukaambia, say less. We are here. Sisi ya, we rode from here.
Nairobi.
Kwanza hiyo time nakumbuka kazi zilikuwa ziko tight, tukasema okay, sawa. Tulitoka hapa Friday usiku.
PO Box Kakamega
Lugala. Koko Village. Yes. So the girls in the squad, we took a back seat and the boys took a front seat because men understand men. Yeah. And I wanted to say this. Katika ile Q&A, ile inakuanga anonymous. Do you know we got questions as fundamental as who is a boy?
Wow.
Those very things we take for, I don't want to say take for granted, but they wouldn't appear to you. They wouldn't
be so obvious.
They're so obvious. That's the word. They're so obvious. We got questions as who is a boy from the boys. Ukienda kwa mtandao wetu utaona mahali tulikuwa tuna segregate hizo maswali into whatever. And I think one of those questions that shocked me as a person and other people in the squad is how does a boy ask who is a boy? So it made us very aware of how important these boy child programs are. And Kakamega Forest Foundation are doing it very well. Inakuwa kama sijui nikisema 4K club nitakuwa na betray my age. But they are using the same formula as 4K clubs. Zile zikuanga za agriculture. We used to have those clubs in every school. So the same way, the macho club is being rolled out in every school so that the boys can take part in it. So that was it. Kakamega Marathon. Sisi nani uko ku outride. So we can go on and on about what our squad is. But for us, as Paulina said, it is home. We've met family members of our squad. Allow me as I wind up on this particular question. Tumejua wazazi wetu wametuona. Okay? Wazazi wetu wametuona, mama zetu wametuona, wametubarikia. Okay? It is their prayers that keep us on the road safe. All right? So we don't take it for granted that we are in our squad so that we are able to communicate clearly who we are as a squad. Our parents are involved. Ukiona kwa zile kura tulikuwa tuna votiwa riding club of the year. Mama zetu walikuwa Facebook.
Imagine.
Wana vote na kuvote.
Na wakiambia watu wa vote. You can go into our social media pages, you see. Thank you. So we take it very, some of us started as single, tumeenda kwa wedding zao. So how can we take such a thing? And more in place. How can we take such things like that?
Yes, the men are coming in. We need
So even as we ride, we are very aware that it's riding and it is much, much more.
Amazing.
Maybe I'd like to maybe add on what she's saying.
Yes.
We have rides. I happen to. We have the impromptus that come into place. We always factor in the routes, the journey, the stopping points. We always have a volunteer from the group actually mapping it out.
Okay.
They need to factor in, we are ladies, we need to make stops. We could be hungry. We always need to hydrate along the road. So these mini stops that we have, and looking at the journey and also the time, we have a planner. This planner will tell us on this particular day, okay, the weather is not looking that bad, but we'll set out at this particular time of the morning. We unaishi wapi? Maybe naishi uko mwisho Githurai 45. Obviously huwezi niambia nitoke saa 10. Najua kama natoka saa 10, then I need Murila to pick me up. I need Eddie to come for me. You know, so they also factor in that for us. And then once we are setting out on the road, they also look at hii barabara tunapitia kuna watu ama tunaenda mahali we can be mugged. So we also factor in some of these things when we're going out.
Okay. This it brings in a clear statement from your side ya kwamba there's teamwork, there's discipline and dedication. Nataka tuguzie kitu controversial kidogo.
Oh, bring it on.
Stereotypes za riders. Kuna stereotypes mingi. Nikiona kama Nduthi Gang, watu wanajuanga ukiwa na simu hivi kwa barabara umehang hivi imeenda. Those stereotypes zenye tunaongelelea, umesikia kama gani enda? What can be your advice kwa watu na hizo stereotypes?
Hiyo umeonea majuu kwa sababu sijaiona ikihappen Kenya. Maybe na happen kule nyuma but when you see it happen, you try thinking mtu alionea sangapi ndo mark your simu ndo ajue. Obviously it's habit, anajua. Private bikers wao wekanga simu hapa, cyclists wekanga simu uko nyuma. So they know. So if someone brings a mindset of actually stealing, what are you thinking?
Okay.
Unaenda unaiba kwa nduthi. I know tumeona mingi sana on YouTube, but when it comes to the ground, it happens differently. Watu wako na tactics. So hata hiyo sijui niseme ni stereotype ama ni nini. I think it's just
watu wako na fast moving fingers. Because hata ukiangalia, if you look at some cases zenye zimekuwa reported, watu wanasema kwamba kuna mtu alikuja akanyang'anya simu akapanda kwa bike akaenda.
So anajua ni mtu wa nduthi.
Mtu wa nduthi. You know, na labda hata mtu wa nduthi ana copy, you know.
Wajua mtu wa nduthi, wajua nduthi pia ina shuffle kwa traffic as opposed to a car. So kuna hiyo issue moja. Issue ya pili, the fastest way to transport people in a, let's say in a CBD environment would be via a motorbike, because you can shuffle in between the traffic. So tunaelewa where that would come from. We tunaelewa. But this is what we want to say as we dissuade those stereotypes. Stereotypes ni nyingi, kuna hizo za wizi. Unaona pia siku hizi kwa political maandamano watu wanasema it is easier kushuffle watu wawili kwa boda. Unaona kwa gari nikikuona umebeba mbogi nitashindwa unaenda. Unaona but kwa motorbike naweza beba watu wawili, naweza jifanya niko kazi. So unaweza shuffle watu pole ukiwa na boda. So tunaelewa. Stereotype ya tatu ni women and biking. Hiyo kwanza hiyo ndio you know, like ladies and it's amazing that unajua umejitokeza and you can, you know, ride and you're doing amazing things. So I feel when we are able to address these things and give the clear picture of what exactly goes on, and you've already stated it, you know, the good things that you've done, Kakamega Heritage Foundation, you've done the marathon, you've talked about the Macho Club, you know, things like that for the boy child. Just to see that, you know, it's not just riding na mrando and having fun and eating food and visiting nice places. It's about the more that you give. What's your take on the industry? Riders wa kawaida and now the private riders sasa kama nyinyi like our squad, and now the commercial riders kama sasa watu wa boda. Is there anything that you would want to like advise us on what to look out for, or what are the things that you feel should be done in the industry? Because hizo stereotypes ndio zinakujanga zinaleta shida mingi. Because nimeona pia hata kuna bikes zenye saizi zinatumia gas cylinder, hata si electric, gas cylinder. Ni initiative, yes. But ni mafuta imepanda, so mtu anaamua gas cylinder, you allow me to talk about it.
Yeah, feel free, you can talk about it.
Oh, okay. Kwa stereotypes, it is easy to point fingers, because as human beings that is an easier route to take than interrogate the issue. But tabia mbaya, it is a human aspect, not a biker's aspect.
Okay.
So utapata watu wenye wana behave vibaya hata kanisani, msikitini. Mtu mwenye amedecide kuna wezi wenye watumii boda. So tabia mbaya ama malpractices or vices within a society are not a preserve of a certain industry. For example, the way people would say that this is a preserve of the boda industry or of bikers. No. Bad behavior and vices is characteristic to humans. So there are humans who will just decide they want to defy what is right and do what is wrong. It's not a preserve of bikers. Okay. So that's the message we would want to put across. All right? That is one. Number two, in terms of kutofautisha ama what we would want done between differentiating private bikers and the commercial bikers. All right? and this is strictly a Frida opinion.
Yeah.
If it was up to me, there wouldn't be any differentiation whatsoever.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be, because all of us would adhere.
The principles are the same.
Yes. All right. We are on two wheels. We are. If it was left up to me, if life was that ideal. However, here we are. All right. We are differentiated by how we train, how we perceive biking.
Yes.
We are differentiated by that. How we would kit, mindset as well. We are differentiated that way. Okay. Unfortunately, that is what is real. All right. How do we do going forward? All right.
Yeah.
Repeating, creating awareness. Crimeshield. This that you're doing.
Yeah.
That we continue with it, na tusichoke.
Yeah.
Tusichoke. Because any boda who dies, any biker, private biker who dies, it's a bill
to be paid.
To be paid in hospital, bill ya mazishi, ripple effect on the family they've left behind.
Sustainability.
All right? So tuseme humse has a family, has children, has a wife, a woman, I have a husband, I have kids. There is a cost to it. For every time we are unsafe on the road, there is a cost to pay in case it goes. So we cannot get tired of keeping on to reiterate.
Yeah.
Let's go, let's train, let's dress properly.
Yeah.
Another thing I will say is, utakuta nilitrain huu mwaka. Sawa?
Kachukua sabbatical.
Nikaenda nimetrain, nimejua, nimeride, tumepiga rides kama sasa CCR squad, unajua tumepiga rides. Unakuta biker ama msewa boda anakuambia, and we take a lot of pride in telling you I have 10 years behind the saddle. Unajua behind the, unajua. But umse alitrain mara ya kwanza na hajawahi train
ajaelewa ya kwamba ni continuous.
Hajawahi enda refresher. Okay? So this hajawahi enda refresher, hajawahi enda ka first aid course huku. Unajua those things we keep on doing. So say, and this is a question I would want to pose. If you did one training and then you've been riding for 10 years and you've never retrained again, are you still competent and proficient?
Hakuna.
I don't think so. So we must also, for every upgrade, nkitoka 250 niende 400, do refresher.
Yeah.
Okay?
Wakati unapeleka service pia wewe jipeleke service.
Jipeleke service pia wewe.
Okay.
So that is another thing as a squad we really want to emphasize, and we really emphasize as a group. Kwamba nikipata hii, nikipata upgrade, enda ukatrain tena. Vitu mpya zikitoka, enda upgrade. Saa hii mabarabara, mi tukianza kuride hizi mabypass zilikuwa ziko na maflyover hizi ziko huku. Okay? We need to acclimatize to that again. Bike ikiendelea kuongeza mileage, iko na wear and tear yake, it handles differently. Let's go and retrain. So that's...
What about you, Pauline?
I think I'll take you back on the stereotypes, manenos. Assuming you're a driver, ukiona dem amepita na bike, you'll be like, hiyo ni dem. As in imekuja automatic. Ebu check hips, check dem. And then when you're riding, when you're driving, you're like, pisheni umadama aende. You know, that's the first thing. We are being given the road, yes, but we are supposed to share the road. Usikuje unifinyilie kwa barabara just because I'm a chick. Uniachie barabara vile naenda. There are so many lanes. Tumeenda driving school moja. Board ni ile. Ile utafanya, ndo mimi nitafanya. Obviously before I get my documentation in straight, I need to learn the road. So when I come to that road, umeona hips pale zimetokea, umeona tunywele you know, I think that's something also the ladies pick up. They put ponytails, ndo ujue uni dem. Obviously utampatia nafasi kayo. So I'll be having that confidence. So even when you get out there, fine, I'm a chick, but usini harass aki. Just let me use the road and move. So with this stereotypes kind of thing, there are so many that go unsaid. Okay. But at the end of it all, I'll still need to get home to my family. I'll still need to get home to the place I was going in the first place, and everything else that come into play.
A quick one, and you know, hii ni maoni yangu.
Your opinions.
Bike inafaa mtu aendeshe wapi? Kando huku ama katikati ya barabara ama katikati ya lane? Because bazu anaendeshanga anywhere. Utamuona huku unajaribu kidrive, unamuona ametokea side yako ya left. In Kenya biker inafaa endesha wapi, whether boda ama private ride?
Wacha nikuongeze kitu. Wewe ukiendesha unaendeshanga wapi?
On the left side on the road up.
Unaendesha kwa katikati ya line ama in the middle?
In the middle, pale kwa hiyo lane yangu. Yes.
Now assume I'm the same person. I also need to go in the same exact position in the middle of it, right?
Okay.
But sasa ukikuja ati mimi ni mswanduthi, najua nikikuja unaniambia huyu mtu ni kitu kidogo bana. Hebu mwambie asonge huko.
Asonge kando.
So unapata wanduthi wanajua huyu mtu ataniharas, wacha nikae huko mwisho kabisa, we call it on the shoulder area. So unapata mtu ana ride along that white strip.
Ideally if I go hapo.
Which is very wrong and very unsafe. If I ride there I could like sleep. Unapata the condition of my tires are totally different from the other person.
Okay.
And when sazini unaweza pata maybe kuna maji, kuna kashimo hapo uko jana. You know, potholes appear from anywhere in this Kenya. So I could be riding and then all of a sudden boom. Wewe mtu wa gari utaniondokea because you don't want accident and insurance. Unajua mtu wa nduthi hana insurance.
Unakuacha huko hivyo kwa
wewe umesonga, you know. So let me ride in the middle of that lane. And I obviously know the ones that move fast are on this specific area. The ones that move slow, I need to be in this specific area. Kuna service lane. Kwa nini una hustle na wase kwa highway? Toka endesha huku to your confidence. Then kuna zile kwa dual. Ng'ang'ania katikati ya lane. Hapo katikati songa. Wapigie honi mara 20. Do not waver. Do not do anything. Just move. That is where you need to be. And that is the specific purpose of this road. Kuwa katikati, songa. But now you need to maintain the pace of the person ahead of you. But your speed yako nayo unaenda pole pole. What am I doing in the other lanes? Wacha nisonge huku, nisonge na pace najua because maybe I'm shaking on the inside. Sometimes you wear a helmet uko na mawazo like maisha imekusonga uko na stress. I don't need to move fast. I just need to get to where I'm going. So let me stay on the out but move at a speed that needs to be very comfortable for the other people behind me to also come into play and move along their direction. So kuwa hapo katikati, and the other thing, mind the person ahead of you.
Okay.
Something else when I'm also like when you're driving, unaambia ukikaa hapa, unajua sio mama tunakaa hivi.
Mnapush toka kichwa inatokelezea kwa windshield.
Nafaa kuona. So even you on your bike, you need to be in a comfortable position.
Okay.
When I'm moving, nafaa kuangalia hii gari nisikaribie paka hapa kwa mapua. I need to give it distance because anything can happen. Right? So many factors need to be considered. So nafaa kujiangalia like in a bubble. Hapa mbele niko na nafasi, huko nyuma niko na nafasi, and I need to take calculated risks. If anything happens right now, do I have an escape? Huku. Najua. I know there's no point that nitafika nisema nimeruka kwa bike vile unaruka kwa baiskeli, you know you can just let it fall and then you go. Hii ni machine. You need to know how to control it. You need to know where your brakes are. I need to know how to react. Not necessarily just go and move. So hizi vitu zote nikikanyageo barabara nafaa ku take into consideration.
Okay.
That's what I can cap it on.
To add on to that, she has very good points. Hii tunaitanga death lane.
Kabisa.
Death lane ndio huko mwisho on the left.
Tunaitanga death lane. Literally to make it so dramatic. Ndio mtu ajue it's called the death lane. Upande huo kama una ride na hiyo side, driver kawaida default yetu tunaangalia hii side mirror. Na hii side mirror hii watu angalii sana.
Hiyo ni ya conductor.
Hii ni ya upande. Ula mtu akienda ustuke tu kuwe kuna kitu pale, utaswerve wapi?
Obviously.
Left.
Unapatana naye na yeye. Boda nyingi accident, okay, let me not say boda. Bikes nyingi, motorbikes nyingi accident huwa kwa junction. Kwa roundabout. Okay. That's usually very common.
Zinaitwa choke point.
Those ones, okay. Ukiwa kwa death lane, sisi wote tuko hivi. Kama tumeingia a live junction uoni. All you see is where you are. Ukiwa kwa command position, kuna ile tunaita command position yenye anaongelelea
hapo katikati sasa.
Hapo katikati ama kuna command position. Ukiingia kwa live junction unaona yule, unaona pale, unaona hii yenye inakuja, unaona. That's why they get knocked on those particular points. You uoni, all you can see is that lane. So unaonaga mtu amepanda boda, okay, anaambia mtu wa boda twende haraka. Wanaingia death lane.
Yani
unapata side mirror zote tukisonga.
As in, I even lack words
Yeah.
I even lack words. And I think for many people, it's because maybe they do not know.
Yeah.
But if you're being carried on a commercial motorbike, you would not allow yourself to be carried on the death lane.
Yeah.
Mwambie tukae wapi kwa command position.
Your place I happy.
Yeah. Na sasa kwa hiyo command position pia, juu sisi uride na mataa yakiwa on, wewe ukiwa driver uko na review mirror.
Yeah.
Na kupiga taa kwa review mirror
unaona.
Unaniona. So there are many reasons why. Lori, tafadhali. Lori inakuanga na blind spots, tafadhali. Unakutaga mtu, lori ndio hii, inataka kutane na kuambia mzee wa bodana ngangana, yani
anataka akue hapo.
Yani, lori, tafadhali. It has blind spots and if you're ako juu, most of the times akuoni. So if people can be careful about that, that is also another thing to look at. Yeah.
Amazing. Hii show wa ishangi kabla pia mimi ni flex security muscle yangu.
Flex away.
So kwa hii topic I think I'll teach you one thing inaongelelea sana, and that is situational awareness. And I think it can align with this particular topic because ubongea about the death lane, mongelelea about, you know, judging your distance. We talked about the bubble, vitu kama hizo, yeah. So ukiwa pale, you know, you need to be aware of what surrounds you. Umeongea about wakati mnaenda trips, mnaenda all the way paka Namanga, mwingine ameenda paka Dubai. Before you do that, you kuna checklist yako, kuna mtu anafanya hiyo journey plan vile mnaenda. Hiyo yote iko ndani ya situational awareness. Because you're judging the weather, the distance, what are the things that you're going to do wakati mko pale. Ladies, I'm so happy and humble that mlikuja. Ini topic nye tutaingililia na tutaongea. We'll have another segment that you will show us some parts. Nimeona mko na tech stuff hapa hivi kwa masikio, yani sijui ni video. Siku hizi kuna inatoka ni VAR ya ball ile wanafanyanga hivi. But we'll talk about it in a different segment. But I am very, very humbled that mlikuja. Our squad team, peleka salamu zangu kwao na uambie ya kwamba keep on doing the good work you're doing. Mimi na join soon, tapigia Brian nimwambie.
Achana Brian.
Okay, sawa. Brian, naachana na wewe. Niko na Pauline. Na Murungi. So thank you guys, and you know, if you like this topic and you are a rider ama unataka ku ride, check out our squad. They won an award actually. Ilikuwa ya global, yeah?
Riding Club of the Year 2023, Africa Mashariki.
Amazing. You see, so riding is not something that is supposed to be associated with people who are rogue. Ndudhi gang, private riders, watu wheelers. You know, it's something that we need to carry with pride. And tumepata information mingi hapa hivi kwa Crimeshield podcast. Give us your comments and your perspective on riding, stereotypes zenye umesikia huko hivyo nje. Tueleze hapo hivyo. Kama imekubamba na umeona kitu umelearn, take that with you. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Kama kawaida, we are here at Wojo, Shared Office Spaces. Many thanks to them because kama ingekuwa hao then hatukuwa hapa. See you next time and keep it Crimeshield.